leaked the Watchtower's emergency plan to stop 2025 Exodus is the title of the video today. Now, this is not just a clickbait. This is the story that is shaking the ex-JW communities and the Watchtower insiders alike. Now, right now on this channel, on Tell Me Dr. K, we are digging into this story that the Jehovah's Witnesses has an emergency plan to stop the exodus of members in 2025 and beyond. Now, 3 months ago, I did a video in which I warned about the extreme obedience that the Watchtower is demanding. And the question that I asked was, is the Watchtower going to be the next Jimmy Jones and the People's Temple? One wonders where the Watchtower is going with this demand for absolute obedience and loyalty to the governing body. They have issued statements in the past that members should obey them, even if the instructions don't make sense or not practical from a human point of view. Now, if somebody tells you something that does not make sense or something that is not practical, why should you obey it? In fact, in another video, they've said the obedience we practice today will be useful during Armageddon because the governing body will issue life-saving instructions for the members during that time.
We too have to be well-trained and ready to obey. Why? Because the obedience that we develop today will help us to obey life-saving instructions that we will receive from God's organization in the future. When the nations attack us and the war of Armageddon follows, showing obedience will be our protection.
Movements built on absolute loyalty can end in disaster. Jimmy Jones and the People's Temple, we all know how that story ended. If you are new here, I'm Dr. K, a theologian, polemist, author, and international consultant. In addition to 3 other degrees, undergraduate and postgraduate, I hold 2 PhDs and a degree in theology with distinction. My expertise lies in examining text and the leaders who use them for better or for worse. If you enjoy such deep dives, subscribe so that you don't miss what is coming next. Now, following the video that I did in which I asked a question about whether the Watchtower is going to be the next Jimmy Jones and the People's Temple, a video on YouTube has emerged claiming that the governing body has a 2030 agenda, a plan they don't want you to know.
A few weeks ago, we received an anonymous email from a man who identified himself only as a former elder from the United States. The subject line read, "The 2030 Agenda. You need to know this." The message didn't contain wild predictions or emotional outbursts. It was calm, structured, and deeply unsettling. What he described wasn't just a shift in religious policy. It was a long-term strategy already in motion. According to this former elder, internal discussions within the leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses have increasingly focused on global alignment, digital monitoring, and preparing members psychologically for tighter organizational control by the year 2030.
Now, could this be the answer to the question that I asked in my video? Is this where all the obedience is leading? Let's find out. Now, I'm not just reporting rumors. I am fact-checking every claim with direct evidence from the Watchtower publications and other sources. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what is real and what is speculation, and how these emergency plans are already backfiring inside the Watchtower's organization. Stay tuned, because if you care about truth, transparency, and spiritual freedom, you can't afford to miss this video. Let's look at obedience without question and how it backfires. An ex-JW in this new video claims members are being trained to follow instructions no matter what, blindly, without question. Now, if this video is resonating with you, kindly do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload another video, you receive a notification. And when we check the records, the evidence is undeniable. 2017 Watchtower, it states, all of us show respect for our leader, Jesus, by being obedient and submissive to the men he's using to direct us. That's the Watchtower edition, September 2017, page 20, paragraph 8.
Well, now what's the lesson for us? What can we learn from that? Well, like Israel, Jehovah will reward all of us if we obey him and his son. And we remember what Hebrews chapter 13, 17 says. We need to be obedient to those that are taking the lead among us today. And like Moses, they've been carefully chosen and assigned by Jehovah to watch over us, to take care of us, protect us.
December 2022 Watchtower. We may receive instructions that seem strange, impractical, or illogical. That will be hardly the time to second guess. Watchtower Study Edition, December 2022, page 17, paragraph 17. Strange, impractical, illogical, and the message is clear. Obey anyway.
This experience well illustrates one way to show courage now, and that's by following the direction of the brothers taking the lead, even if we don't fully understand the reasons why this direction has been given.
Exactly. We've been told when Gog of Magog attacks Jehovah's people, we may receive direction that may not seem practical. So courageously following directions now will help us to do so then.
Now here's what is happening on the ground. When people are told to obey without asking questions, what begins to happen in a person's mind is why? Why should I not ask questions? Is there something they are hiding that I don't know? And immediately you do that, the mental antennas rises and becomes sensitive and alert and start wondering why you are being asked to obey without asking any questions. Now, the more the organization pushes for unquestionable obedience, the more the members begin to quietly research the organization history and policies, including failed prophecies. Now, when faith tells you to stop asking questions, that's often when important questions begin. Now, this isn't blind loyalty in name. It is blind loyalty in practice. That's exactly what it looks like. And members are beginning to research for themselves. Independent thinking discouraged and the research trigger. The video claims independent thinking is under attack. That saying, I think for myself, is considered a sin. Let's look at evidence about this claim. November 2018, the Watchtower says, some people resist the idea of having anyone mold or influence their thoughts. I think for myself, they say. They do not wish to be controlled, nor do they want to surrender their individuality. Watchtower Study Edition, November 2018, page 10, paragraph 12. Now, it doesn't say independent thinking is good as long as you remain loyal. No. It frames the very idea of thinking for yourself as rebellion. When an organization explicitly discourages independent thinking, it raises a red flag for many. They begin to ask, what is it that they are afraid of that I might discover when I start using my independent thinking? This is what has led to some calling it stealthy research. A research that they are doing quietly outside the organization parameters. The Watchtower has told members to only research using the jw.org. It is like a person taking you to a big library and then he tells you, you can research anything you want. And then all the doors are locked except One, which leads you to the materials that the person wants you to research. Now, as members are discouraged to conduct research, some have started digging into the history of the organization, the policies, the Bible interpretation, comparing their versions to other versions, and also even looking at the prophecies that were made in the past but have not been fulfilled. If anything, all the predictions or prophecies of the Watchtower Society have not come to pass. Now, the discouragement of independent thinking creates the curiosity that such prohibition is trying to discourage. Kingdom Ministry, September 2007 says, elders are instructed to watch for members who reference outside sources or independent research. Page 3.
Hey, Justin, I want you to read this article I just sent you. It's going to change the way you see the organization. Get back to me.
Did you get that message I sent you?
Why would you send that to me? Better yet, why are you reading that garbage? It's all lies.
Garbage? How do you know if it's garbage if you haven't even read it?
Listen, you need to talk with your elders, because you need help. And if you don't speak to them, I will.
Wow, that's what you feel. I need help. I don't need any help, man. I'm finding the answers to my questions, bro, and I'm keeping an open mind.
Open mind? You're ignoring Jehovah's thinking. The truth saved our lives.
Look, man, how long have we known each other? I would never steer you wrong. I'm not out to hurt you. I'm trying to help you.
There's only one truth, and it comes from Jehovah.
You're gonna walk away like that? What are you so afraid of? Man, stop being a coward.
So, this claim from the new video is verified straight from jw.org and other publications. The ex-JW elder points to the organization's new arrangements, measures, deployments, even wholesales, and say they are packaged as Jehovah's plan. November 22, Watchtower. Adapting to changes made by Jehovah's organization always brings blessings. These refinements are preparing us for even greater changes. Page 15, paragraph 14. So in plain terms, the congregation measures are not just practical moves. They are spiritual tests of loyalty. Before I play this clip, let me tell you something. The governing body is very good at anticipating things. They gather information from all over the world. So when they get this information, they come up with a plan on how to address those issues.
Each year, the Teaching Committee carefully considers reports from around the world from branch committees and world headquarters representatives. Often such reports indicate topics that could be addressed on a convention. The Teaching Committee then selects a more specific theme that will serve as the basis for addressing the needs of our worldwide brotherhood. The theme is submitted to the entire governing body for approval. Then, work begins on scripture themes for each day of the convention.
And in addition to that, they dramatize it. They act it out. A video was dramatized about members being randomly reallocated to different congregations when the Kingdom Hall is earmarked for selling. So to prevent people from revolting, they anticipate the revolt and then they act it out so that you know in advance what is expected of you. So now, here is the clip.
So, Peter, let's hear from you next.
Well, when we informed everyone that the publishers were going to be redistributed to the north or south congregation, let's just say some struggled with the idea.
Paula, did you see? They have us going to the south congregation and everybody else from our group is going to north.
Yeah, I saw that. My aunt and cousins will be going there too.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. They should keep you together. Well, at least the brothers said that the list was just a recommendation.
Well, they didn't say it exactly like that. They said if we had extenuating circumstances.
So you don't have to go if you don't want to go.
But Kim, if everyone did that, don't you think...
Hi, Sister Taylor.
Oh, hello, girls.
I saw your name on the list for the South congregation, but your grandkids and their families, they're going to North. So what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
Well, are you going to North or are you going to South?
Now, sweetie, didn't you say you saw my name listed under the South congregation?
Yeah, but...
So, I'll be going to the South congregation.
Well, don't you think it would make more sense if you were in the same congregation as your grandkids and their families?
Does it make more sense? Well, that's a whole different question. The brothers outlined an arrangement. They said they hoped we could support that arrangement, unless we had extenuating circumstances, and I don't have any right now. So, for me, it's simple. Whether I know all of the reasons or not, I'm going to support that arrangement. Oh, look, girls, I've got to go. Oh, and by the way, I hope to see you both in the South congregation.
Peter, you got a sec?
Kingdom Wholesales. The organization has sold over 3,000 Kingdom Halls since 2015, with proceeds directed to headquarters. For this, see jw.org Newsroom 2015 to 2024 local news coverage. Does JW list every Kingdom Wholesale as Jehovah's will? No, that's not in the official publications. But the pattern is very clear. Organization changes are consistently framed as divine direction. The questioning effect. These constant refinements have prompted many to start researching the organization history, practices, policies, including financial practices and decision making. When every change is labeled as divine guidance, some begin to question the difference between policy and divine direction. Then comes a chilling claim that JW apps are turning into social scores like China social credit scores. Let's check the facts. The JW Library app privacy policy states that the app collects IP address, device type, and operating system for app improvement, fraud prevention, and security. Source JW Library privacy policy. But the question is why? They say it's standard for functionality, the same data that is collected by Netflix or weather app. Critics confirm there is no evidence of spiritual monitoring, no points for loyalty. What does exist is the publisher ID, an internal record system for elders to track attendance, assignments, and field service. But that's not surveillance app, that's administrative. Verdict, not verified. No evidence supports tracking app or social scores. Finally, the big question. The alleged plan for 2030. Here is what we found. Nothing. No single reference on jw.org. Not in Watchtower. Not in convention talks. Not in JW broadcasting. If there is a secret plan, by definition, it is secret. If you know about it, it is no longer a secret. However, it is important to know that clearly the governing body is not moving blindly. There is definitely a plan. Now, What we may not be certain, whether that is a plan for rebranding, a plan to stop mass exodus, but it is very clear that the Watchtower Society is in trouble. Because in the recent past, the last 4 years or so, many changes have been made. Changes that you would not have expected would take place. And of late, in the last 2 months, we have seen 2 major changes: cleansing of glasses and the higher education policy change. But in the past, we have seen changes to the shunning policy, changes to the dressing and grooming, men wearing beards, men not wearing ties and jackets and suits at meetings unless you have a part on the program, women to wear pants unless you are going to the headquarters or you have a role to play on the program. We have seen publishers not reporting hours, and many other changes have taken place. Now, a talk on jw.org was made showcasing how meticulous the governing body is when it comes to planning. It was presented by David Schaeffer, and he mentions that the governing body comes up with a one-word theme years ahead of time, and 5 years before that, they start putting the plan to effect that one-word theme into action. Here is a clip.
It all begins with the theme. As Brother Morris pointed out at the 2017 Regional Convention, one-word themes are determined years in advance. That one word will guide those preparing the program. Dramas, the most labor-intensive part of a program, are developed 5 years in advance. To prepare scripts, the teaching committee cooperates closely with the writing department in working with a team known as the Drama Review Group. These experienced writers develop scriptural plots that teach lessons in harmony with the convention theme. Scripts are extensively researched and then sent to Audio-Video Services, or AVS, for production. All of this work has to begin early.
Now, because of that, something that they've acknowledged, and looking at the changes that are taking place, we can be confident enough that the plan does exist to turn around the Watchtower Society to make it more acceptable. Not that the leadership wants that to happen, but it's a question of survival. They are losing the young people. Remember that the Pew Research says 2/3 of those born in the region leave when they are adults. Only 1/3 remains, the highest turnover rate of any major region in the United States. What does that tell you? It tells you that this is a region that has no future. Because the leaders we are seeing today, members of the governing body, they are helpers. Few decades ago, they were young.
Jehovah's organization arranged large international conventions that were held in New York City. In 1958, 250,000 people, can you imagine, overflowed Yankee Stadium and the Polo Grounds. Were any of you there? Well, it's so wonderful. We still have a few people there. It's not that I wasn't in the truth at that time. It's just I wasn't in the world at that time.
But alas, they are afraid they will have no successors. So let us recap. Obeying even when it doesn't make sense, verified. Number 2, independent thinking discouraged. I think for myself is treated as rebellion, verified. Congregation changes framed as divine direction, verified. Property sales framed as spiritual, partly verified. Tracking apps and social score system, not verified. A 2030 secret plan, not verified. Which brings us back full circle to the video that I did 3 months ago. JW demands extreme obedience. Is the Watchtower going to be the next Jimmy Jones and People's Temple? Extreme obedience is real and it is getting worse. And history shows where movements of unquestionable obedience leads to. The People's Temple didn't become a tragedy overnight. It happened step by step, loyalty by loyalty, until the unthinkable became inevitable. So I leave you with this question. When your faith asks you to ignore your reasoning, silence conscience, and obey no matter what, is that faith? Or is that control? So what do you think about the video on the alleged 23rd plan? Do you think it's there or it's not there? Is it a speculation? Put your comments below. To watch the video about extreme obedience and whether the Watchtower is the next Jimmy Jones and People's Temple, click on this link. To watch the video about the youth exodus, click on this link.